What's up? What's up? It's time for Done Way Past Funny with your host, Sugar Ray. And G.D. Fenderson. Join us as we take a look back at the first time comedians took the stage with this week's guest, Tunnell. It's time to get down and get dope with Done Way Past Funny. Hi, I'm G.D. Fenderson, your certified forensic humorist at large, but I'm losing weight. My co-host, Sugar Ray, is still at the airport somewhere trying to book a flight to anywhere but getting nowhere fast. But I do have joining me today a good friend of mine, and I say that because it's true, not like in the comic thing. In the comic world, we go, this is my good friend, and they've never met each other before, never talked work or anything like that. So welcome to the screen, Tunnell.
Thank you, brother. How's it going, man?
It's going good. It's going good. This is our second time doing this. And y'all won't see the first time because technical
it didn't happen.
Yeah, it didn't happen. Never didn't happen. Yeah, because it's like Vegas.
Yes.
All right. Well, let the people know who you are a little bit about yourself, how long you've been doing comedy, where you're located, and how they can find you.
All right. I'm Tunnell. I've been doing comedy. It'll be 21 years in February. I'm in Las Vegas now. Started in Philadelphia for a few months, and I moved to DC. Love DC. Learned the comedy trade in DC. Moved back to Philly, then moved to New York City, which I hated, and then came to Vegas.
Now, I didn't realize that you were in NYC before you were in Vegas. I just thought you went like DC, Philly, Vegas. I didn't even realize. Yeah.
I was in New York City for 6 years.
Wow. Man.
But I wasn't really I started doing comedy like the last year I was there.
Okay.
Because I have a speech impediment from a stroke I had. And I was fighting that.
But you were already doing comedy before the stroke.
Yes. Yeah. The stroke gave me a speech impediment called aphasia.
Okay. So how long were you doing comedy before the stroke?
13 years.
So 13 years before the stroke, and how many since the stroke?
I've been started more than about a year.
Okay, so now, because you had one way of doing things before the stroke.
Yes.
I mean, you want to go into details, you can. Like, some people are superstitious about routines and stuff that they do go through, and then they don't have their routines anymore because, like in my case, my routine was I used to drink a Red Bull before each show. Once I was diagnosed with diabetes, I couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah.
So now I drink like this thing. You got
right. I used to zone out, I call it.
Mm-hmm.
Like the way I did when I got ready for a football game. And I played football in college all my life. So I used to focus and zone out like I was going to a football game to get myself up to do a show. Then after the stroke, I was so worried about getting my jokes out clean that I couldn't do that because it was the anxiety would hit me hard that I can't do this anymore. So I was trying to, I had to stop doing that. And then I just started, focus doing the show and just wing it. See what happens.
Now, the clip that we're going to watch tonight is actually your first show after your stroke.
Yeah, I went to a friend of mine called me and said, "Come over and try to do some comedy." And
that was in New York.
I tried. No, that was in That was in Philly when I moved back to Philly. This
Oh,
happened
okay.
in Philly, and it
Okay.
was. I've seen it once
Hmm.
right after I recorded it, but I haven't seen it again. So this is new to me, and
Okay.
it's
Well, I've watched it 3 or 4 times since you sent it to me.
okay.
No,
Oh, God.
and well, part of it is it's not like I'm like looking. It's not like football footage where you're like looking for a weakness in the defense. In
Yeah.
my case, like the first time I look at it is because I downloaded it. Well, actually, I didn't download it. I well, yeah, I recorded it, I screen captured it.
Okay.
So the first time I watched it, I'm just looking to make sure I got everything. There's no glitches. That's the
Mhm.
first time I watch it. Second time I watch it is to find out where I'm going to divide it because I don't show the whole clip. And the third
Okay.
time I watch it is once I render it, I want to make sure that it didn't get any glitches in there. And
Right.
so, but every time I watch it, I still take notes and stuff but it's still, but I'm not doing it like, oh, wait a
Right.
minute. Stan, look what Stan just did. Oh man, look at that. Oh man, rewind. That's out of bounds. No, I'm not saying, I'm not doing that. It's more
Right.
like, yeah, so now before we get to that, because you started, well, you didn't start in DC, but you
I consider
when you
myself a DC comic.
DC comic, yeah. Well, I'm trying to work the words "fat doctor" into the sentence.
Okay.
You are one of his mentorees, one of his acolytes.
Yes. Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
now go ahead.
I moved to DC. I started in February. I moved to DC in May, and I met the fat doctor in August. He was the headliner at an open mic, and he came up to me. I didn't get any laughs at all.
Hmm.
And he came up to me and said, "You know, you have some good premises. You should take my class to learn how to work it out and make them funny." And I did.
Now, um, for the people out there who do not know who Fat Doctor is, can you describe him or tell people about him? Because not many people outside of DC may know who he is.
Right.
I mean, he's done television. He has done some television.
Yeah, he's done Def Comedy Jam. He was a
Right.
writer on Martin. He taught Martin, Dave Chappelle, and Darnell Rollins how to do comedy. He's a big name in DC. Anybody in DC probably had something to do with their career.
And you
But
said, did you say Dave Chappelle?
yes,
Now, I thought Tony Woods was the one who, at least that's the way,
yeah,
the way they tell it. Let me stop.
yeah.
I don't
Well,
want to
so
start anything.
Tony Woods, Dave Chappelle idolized Tony Woods.
Right.
The way if you ever see some of Dave's early clips
Mm-hmm.
and see Tony, you'll see the influence he had on him. But the Fact Doctor was the one who taught him how to write comedy. See, the Fat Doctor doesn't teach you comedy. He teaches you the basics of comedy writing.
Okay.
And he has
Yeah.
and that's what he does. And he lets you go. And like my mentor is a guy named William Troxler, and I gave
Mm-hmm.
him all the credit for everything for comedy. But actually learning to write comedy jokes, it's the Fat Doctor.
Okay. Now, have you ever not worked with, been on stage with somebody else that the Fat Doctor has mentored and looked at it and go, and see the influences? Have you ever worked with someone like that?
Uh, there's one person I saw him do a show. Yes. Yeah.
Oh, that's his name. One person. He's
Oh no,
Asian.
no, no,
Or
no, I saw. I don't want to
no,
brag.
no.
Dave Chappelle.
Okay.
I saw
Oh,
him.
that's not bragging. If
Yeah,
you saw, it's not
yeah.
bragging. Bragging would be like Dave Chappelle asked you for your autograph.
Yeah, and he used to do a joke about when he did killing them softly. He does a
Hmm.
joke about women had their breasts so close, tight that they pop out the top of their turtleneck. I'm like, that's Fat Doctor right there. That's that.
Now, so having done comedy in DC, New York, and Vegas, you did some in Philly also, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Can you compare the comedy scenes, because the audiences are going to be different, and how did
Yeah.
you adjust your style to each of the regions?
Uh, well, in DC, it was the crowds were usually more, what I want to say, intellectual.
Mm-hmm.
So I could just do what I do and have fun with it.
Right.
Philadelphia was more a blue collar kind of comedy showpiece, and so I had to do certain jokes in Philadelphia that I knew would work.
Right.
And then New York, when I got to New York, it's I didn't really get on the stage until the pandemic hit, and then the PC was already out, so there was jokes that I tried to do a joke that I
Mm-hmm.
know is funny,
Right.
but just crickets. Just crickets. I was like, wow, really? PC has done this, so I can't do that joke anymore. Everybody gets offended about it, and but in Vegas, it's totally different doing comedy. Like on the East Coast, it's about business.
Right.
Oh, you want me to do a show? What time? How much time am I getting? What's the pay? And Vegas is like, you're doing a show? You want me to do a show? Okay, I'll be there. They don't, you know, they act like open mics are
Mm-hmm.
showcases to them,
Okay.
you know, and then
Okay.
nobody talks about how much money they're getting, and everybody's like, I think everybody's like is enthralled with being in Vegas. They're skipping the part of working to get on stage
Right.
on the strip, because that's where it counts to get on to stage at the strip. But
Right.
it seems like they're satisfied with having their name out in Vegas, and they're
Right.
not working hard and not doing and talking about the business at all.
So comic might say, I did 100 shows, but it actually means he did 100 open mics.
Yeah, yeah,
and no actual shows. Right.
exactly.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. It's funny because I hear new comics, because I don't often do open mics, but when I'm in the middle of writing a show, I will do open mics, um, just for the repetition and get it down, and so I can get my timing down and my
Right,
mechanics down.
right.
Um, and so I've been doing some open mics again, and it's kind of funny. I'll get there, and I remember when I first started, an open mic felt like a credit. You're doing
Yeah,
open mic, and then so it's like, yeah, I did the such and such a room, like it was a big deal,
yeah. Well,
and
because
as a
it
matter of,
was.
well, in a way, yeah,
Yeah,
but
because it
it's,
was
yeah,
fun. Yeah,
yes, it is. You're right. And
yeah,
the part of the when now when I do open mics, or after whenever I do, and basically when I do open mics, I take pictures of like every comic on the stage, and I post them on Facebook, and then they can download it, and the reason why I do that is because statistically speaking, that open mic is as far as most comedians are ever going to make it.
yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Open mics and maybe 5 minutes on a stage opening for somebody where you have no credit, no pay. You just
Right.
got to be on the stage and you can
Yeah, you get a
say,
guest spot, so you.
right, your guest spot,
Right.
right.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's as far as most comedians get.
Right.
And so that's why I take the pictures so that they can have those moments, like graduating from high school.
Right.
You graduated
Yeah.
from high school and all your siblings went to college.
Yeah.
But you got that moment.
I did a show a couple weeks. Well, it was an open mic in Vegas,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a kid, and like TikTok is a thing now as far as comedy goes, and I don't understand it. But this cat
Yeah.
has 8,000 followers on TikTok, so now he thinks he's a comedian, and he's at an open mic, and he goes on stage, and he doesn't have any jokes at all. He's just
Right.
talking, and he doesn't get any laughs. So now he's pissed off. So he gets in an argument. He gets off stage and he's getting in an argument with the host, and then the next comedian, he's arguing with them. So I go over to him. I say, "Look, man, the reason why you're not getting the laughs is," he's like, "Man, I don't need any advice from you. Fuck off." I'm like, "Oh wow, okay." Then I see the guy, the same guy, the next night, and he's bombing again. And then has an attitude afterwards, and I'm like, dude. So I don't think I don't think I'll ever see him again. I really don't, because it's just like people don't like. The Fat Doctor told me one time, comedy is an art form, just like music, art, everything. But comedy is the most underappreciated art, because when it's done well, it just looks so natural.
Yes.
Like when Robin Williams did comedy, it seems like it's off the cuff,
Right.
but it's all planned and practiced and all that kind of thing. So when it happens, very very good, it just looks natural.
Right.
But it's not, and people don't appreciate it, the work that goes into it.
And I first started at a comedy boot camp in Florida,
Okay.
taught by two comedians, Les McCurdy of McCurdy Comedy Theater and Ken Sons. Those two were the instructors for the comedy boot camp. It was a 3-day. It was a 3-day crash course in comedy. And there was this one guy there. I can't remember his name, or actually, I think I remember his name. No, I don't want to risk it.
Okay.
I said the wrong name, but he was really bad. And the teacher Les kept telling him, look, Les wouldn't tell him that he was bad, but the guy didn't want to write jokes. He kept saying, I'll wing it. And what it is we were taking a boot camp, a 3-day boot camp, and then we were going to perform for 150, 200 people. A paid show, not paid to us, but the audience was paying to see the headliner, and the class was opening for the headliner.
Right.
Okay. And he did, it does this show once a year. So the place packs up because everybody, a lot of them are friends of the comedians, and the other ones want to, literally just there to see, maybe they'll catch a rising star or really bad meteorite. So, and he would not take advice, and he kept saying, I'll wing it. And Les could not get through to him. Couldn't get through to him. Tried and tried and tried. Says no. And so I said, let me try. So I said to him, I said, who do you think you're like going to be like? And he says, like Jonathan Winters. And I said, Jonathan Winters doesn't wing it. I said, what looks like winging it to you is actually hours and hours and weeks and years of preparation.
Yeah.
I said, so when he's improvising, if someone says to him, you're being attacked by a bunch of Indians, it's not like he hadn't practiced those sounds before. So he sat there and he's practiced like grabbing a quiver, and shooting, those sounds, so he would make it sound like and I'm not even doing doing it justice, but you understand what I'm saying. He has the sounds, so he's not just winging it; he's practiced it. The only part that's winging is the situation that you're putting that thing that he's practiced in.
Right.
It's like a bartender. He knows how to make all these drinks, and you take them to your house, and you don't have the exact same shaker and cocktail, shaker and exact same strainer. But he's been doing it for so long. He says, okay, I don't need that strainer. I can use that for a strainer. Because I don't need that shaker. I can use that for a shaker because he's been doing it for so long. It's the cocktail that he knows how to make it.
Right.
He knows how to make the cocktail. And the only thing you're doing when he improvises is saying, okay, now I want you to make that cocktail, but using these glasses.
Right.
And that's what that's what this comic didn't get. He was thinking that like, give me the glasses and I'll learn how to make a cocktail.
Right.
You know,
right.
And he was and he bombed, but he was so bad that the people were laughing at him. See, and so when he got off the stage, he just said, I killed. I was like, no, you were killing us.
And see, that's the thing about comedy, where a lot of people don't understand. There's a difference between getting laughs and being laughed at.
Right.
You know, there's a totally different focus, and a lot of guys just don't understand that.
Yeah, yeah. Now, speaking of laughs, we're going to look at your first set. Actually, we'll look at this set. It's divided into 2 parts. Like I think it's like a 6-minute thing, but so we're looking at 3-minute sections.
Right.
And speaking of laughs, there weren't a lot of them that night.
But there wasn't a lot of people there.
No. See, that's what I was going to ask you because the camera was actually it was like somebody was deep undercover shooting this. They're like they hide the camera in the desserts.
I set the camera up.
Oh, you set the camera up?
Yeah, and then the people came up and started putting food around it when I was going on stage. I was like, oh man.
Oh, okay. That explains it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now it makes sense. Now I'm glad you okay. So people watching, the desserts were not there when he set up the camera. He's not trying to hide the camera behind the cakes. Like it's a secret. No. I'll record myself in secret. I don't want to know.
Right.
All right. Here's the first clip.
You know, it was really frustrating that I couldn't talk for a year. With all the stuff that was going on, you know, it came out that Kanye West likes a finger in his butt. Is anybody surprised by that? I was surprised by that because somebody as a big.
Sorry, I started with the wrong clip. They're out of order here.
Okay.
I loaded them up in the right order, but the computer, I guess one is shorter than the other. And so it finished processing the short one first and put it first.
Caught in the matrix.
Yeah, so I'll edit that out because I was like, wait a second, that's not how it goes. All right, so here we go. For real this time.
Okay.
This next brother coming to the stage, this is his first time back on stage after he had a stroke. So this is real. So it's very, good in the day. So start clapping right now. Start clapping right now. Start clapping for Mr. Tunnell. Make some noise for Tunnell.
Like you said, I had a stroke in May of 2015. I'll tell you the worst part of having a stroke. It's not the fact that I couldn't talk for a year. It's not that I have a blind spot in my eye and I have to give up my license and my car. It's not that. The worst thing, the absolute worst part of it was that gas prices went down under $2 a gallon. I couldn't take advantage of it. I learned that God has a very good sense of humor through it all. Because like I mentioned, I have a blind spot in my eye. You know what I do for work? An optician. That's right, a blind optician and a mute comic. I'm as useless as an impotent porn star right now. And I learned when you have a stroke, you are on your own. There's no cause for a stroke or anything like that. You know, like breast cancer has billions of dollars thrown at it for research. They have a pink pen, they have orange, they have oranges, they have everything. The NFL wears pink for a month for breast cancer. You have a stroke, we don't have anything. We have no cause. We don't even have a song. And it'd be really simple to give a song, and it's free. All I have to do is go to my aunt's basement, get out of her Clarence Carter albums, and play I Be Stroke. Because that's what I be doing.
Oh, man.
Clarence Carter. No, okay.
Oh, God, that was painful.
I'll have to find I don't know if I can a clip of least a couple of seconds of that song for people who don't know, who've never been to your aunt's basement.
Yeah. And, you know, I've noticed, like, well, usually black folks get that.
Was that a
White
room
folks,
that, what
yeah,
kind of room was that?
that was a black room. That was a black room.
But just not enough of them to get it.
Yeah, not enough of them. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one thing about, that's one thing about some jokes. Because you can have good stuff, but it's how should I put it? It's almost like it's a little bit of a thinker.
Yeah.
And so the more people you have, like the more people you have, so like if it's okay, if you have a joke that you know is going to land with like only a quarter of the people initially until the rest will catch on. If you're performing for 100 people, 25 will laugh, and that's a good sounding laugh.
Right.
And then the rest, and then it roars in. And that's, matter of fact, those are my favorite. My favorite jokes are the ones that I've written. They get there's quick ones first, and then everybody else has to slowly catch on, and then the wave of laughter goes like that. Those are my favorite jokes to write. But when you have like only have like 4 or 5, 6 people, the ones that might get that joke aren't there.
Right. Exactly.
And so they can't get the rest of the group thinking. It's like, wait a minute, yeah, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
Because that's what happens. A small group gets it, and then other people realize, okay, there's something there they get, and then their brain starts to look for it and finds it, and then they catch up, you know. And so, well, you were unfortunate that there was a small crowd there, because, like I said, like the fact doctor says, you had some good premises there.
Oh man. And it's what I was doing back then was just trying to memorize what I used to do. You know, there was no personality to what I was doing. I was just trying to recite the jokes I knew.
So it was like Star Trek 1. It was like the first Star Trek movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like the cast was there, but there was no chemistry.
Yeah. And it was that's why I haven't seen this until now. You know, and it's just that the fact that it was I really wanted to see where I was at and what I could do on stage.
Yeah.
But oh God, it was hard.
So that was, because that's one of my questions is like any residual effects from your stroke that permanently altered the way you do comedy.
Yeah. My speech pattern, the pace that what I used to speak, and when everything clicked in, I used to do jokes, and when I did characters that were a part of the joke, it used to come out flawlessly.
Right, I got you.
But then when I started talking, I couldn't get a word out, you know. And I was talking to a friend of mine. He said, well, that's because when you do characters, you're more forceful. It's just like someone who stutters. You got to be more forceful when you're on stage.
Okay.
And that was the trick for me to be able to get back on stage close to where I was.
Right.
So and I had to slow my pace down. If you ever see a pre-stroke set of mine, I used to talk kind of fast.
Right.
I gotta tell y'all, I love my job. I love being a comedian. I love entertaining you. I love making you laugh. But I'm starting to realize that people don't take comedy seriously as a profession. You don't respect it. And I can tell you don't respect it by the comments I always get whenever I'm at a party. It's always the same thing. You're a comedian? Say something funny. You would never ask any other professional to prove themselves to you. Like you wouldn't meet a gynecologist at the same party. You're a gynecologist? Let me smell your finger.
And now I have to slow it down because I still, like, aphasia is a word search problem.
Right.
So I'm still finding for the word I want to get out and get it out of my mouth. and I
Right.
can't do that as fast as I used to.
Right.
Well,
Okay. So now, so the changes that you made, it's it was forced on you. It's but
yes,
you knew what you had to do. So it was
yeah,
like you so you could not talk the way you used to. So you were forced to learn how to talk slowly. So you had to make a conscious effort to accept
yes,
that and talk slowly, as opposed to trying to build up and say, well, it's like I guess like an athlete who used to, do before the surgery could dunk,
yeah,
and he, after the surgery, he can't dunk anymore. So you have two
mhm,
ways of doing it. You're going to athlete going to still run to the hole like he can dunk and just jump and
yeah,
miss the ball, or you can say I'm working on my outside shot.
yeah. Like Dan Barley, they used to call
Yeah,
him Thunder. Used to call him Thunder Dan. By the end of his career, he was shooting threes.
yeah,
So that's how much it's changed, and that's how much it's changed for me doing comedy. Because I
yeah.
have to slow down. Because like I have jokes that I haven't done yet since the stroke, because I know I can't get them out.
Oh, wow.
You
Okay.
know, so it's like we'll see. Like now, I'm getting better. I did a show like 3 weeks ago,
Right.
and I almost felt like my old self.
Wow.
So it's coming. So I know I'm getting close. So now I can try some of the other jokes that I had that I know I couldn't get out. I've tried to get one of them out, and I just can't get it out. So now
Now,
I think I might be able to.
some of the jokes you could, let's say, take the same premise. Let's say the premise was about this can, but the older way you did it so fast. So it's like maybe it's like I don't like a bunch of now I'm trying to think of the words for it, where you have like a bunch of like Sally sells seashells by the seashore, alliteration, something like
Yes.
that. I'm just saying. So you have like this joke that's real fast. It's a lot of alliteration in it, using the bubbly bounce and stuff like that,
Right.
and then and the final punchline is like really funny. But
Yeah.
now, with the stroke, you can't do all the alliteration that you want to do. You can't do the fast talking stuff,
Yeah.
but the premise is still there. So
Right.
can did you like some of them? Were you able to rewrite the joke and
Um.
and salvage the premise, or did you have to just like, no, this joke is best served fast and snappy, and so I would just wait until I can do it that way?
Yeah. I tried to do it. I tried to rewrite it to joke, but it's not funny. And so I try to do it the old way, and I just can't get it out yet. So I'm trying to wait for that to happen, to click in my mind, because I'm getting better. I was talking to a friend of mine last week, and he was like, "Dude, you sound so much better. You excuse me." He's like, "You don't even sing. You don't have that kind of speech impediment now. It's gone."
Mm-hmm.
And then I was talking very hard and loud with him, so that's why it disappeared.
Right.
So it happens, and I'm a work in progress.
Okay.
So we'll see what happens.
Hi, I'm GD Fenderson, certified forensic humorist and host of Done Way Past Funny. You've just watched part one of our interview with the very talented Stan Tunnell. Please join us for part two and the rest of this story. And when you come back to join us, bring a friend.